Hey everybody, Shane Presley here with Rock Paper Podcast. I want to tell you about a couple of exciting events coming up. Coming up on June 11th, we'll be celebrating 1 year of singer-songwriter storytelling showcase at Naked Vine with Michael Eisenbeis and Susie Bassino of Find a Drive, and Michael Flynn and Dustin Brown of Waiting for Flynn. So we'll have 4 riders. We'll have grilled cheese going out there that evening. And we'll have plenty of wine, whiskey, tequila, and local craft beers. So join us at Naked Vine June 11th. It's a $10 cover for the evening, 7 o'clock start. Let me tell you about my friends over there at Naked Vine. If you haven't been by yet, they're doing really amazing things with some local St. Louis music and some of your favorite national regional touring acts and stuff coming through there. So live music Thursday through Saturday. Coming up this week, May 23rd, Bedlam Brothers will be out there playing all your favorite Dylan tunes, so come on by. Friday, May 24th, Chris Roost and Mike Buck will be there. And on Saturday, May 25th, Diesel Island returns. You can find all this information and more at nakedvine.net. Be sure to follow along with them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and get involved with them out there in Chesterfield, Missouri. Hey, another big show coming up I want to let you know about. We're celebrating 5 years of Rock Paper Podcast on June 22nd, and that'll be at Broadway Oyster Bar, and I've invited along my good friends Amanda Fish, Tony Campanella Band, and Odds Lane. Along with the great live music all night happening, we'll also have live art from Jessica Hitchcock. She'll be doing a painting throughout the evening, I'm really excited about that too. And along with all this, we'll have great food from Broadway Oyster Bar and cold drinks all night long. So join us out there at Broadway Oyster Bar on June 22nd for some great live music. Again, music starts at 10. It's an $8 cover for that show. Come out and party with us. This will be 5 years of Rock Paper Podcast. It's pretty wild. So get involved. Everything going on. And last but not least, I want to let you know about my friends, Joseph Meyer Club. If you haven't checked them out yet, head over to josephmeyerclub.com right now and check out their foaming aftershave. You can try today with 20% off using my code RPPJMC20 during checkout. Again, josephmeyerclub.com. Get involved with them also on Facebook for more information. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the support over all these years. Really, the show means so much to me, and I'm glad you all have been listening, and thank you. Have a great day.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
This is J.B. Anderson from Gaslight. You're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast, y'all.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out at Gaslight Studios and Lounge on the Hill with J.B. Anderson. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much, Shane. I appreciate you having me back.
Yeah, man, this has kind of been a long time. We were just looking that up. It's since like March 2017, your last appearance. But
yeah,
so a whole lot's happened since then. Obviously, we've got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, we were just talking about the numbers. That was 362, and you're on 710. So almost double,
right?
You know, so we're on a good pace.
Yeah,
right. The numbers work.
Yeah, that I just think everybody always asks me, like, every time they see me, they're like, "What number is this?" Or what, and that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's not that I really think about, like, I'm trying to shoot for certain numbers or trying to put. It happens to be that way. We have so much great talent here in the city, and everybody wants to hang out and record, and I'm got time to do it, and so I just started recording all the time and putting them all out there, and then all of a sudden I look up and there's 700 episodes, and I was like, man, it's crazy to think about that already in that time.
Yeah. 700 plus, and I bet your inbox is still awfully full.
Yeah, there's still lots of people messaging on lots of new people to meet, and and that's the exciting thing that's going on. There's always new bands starting every day and everything else. There's always more people to talk to, or a next album to talk about, or whatever it is. So it's there's no shortage of things to talk about. So.
Yeah, no, it's one of the advantages that we have here is that not only is there a huge amount of just talent literally in every corner, it's that it keeps growing. It's
for sure.
We're able to don't blink, because there's a lot of stuff that happens literally every day around here, and that's cool.
Yeah, and that's for me, the way I look at it for this show is someday whatever things are going to happen, I'll be done or whatever it is, but we can this is all going to be a giant time capsule, It's
do you have your magic retirement number?
I don't know.
Some weird number 6,315, and then you just go radio silent.
That sounds pretty good.
I don't know if your car could take it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all over this map.
Yeah, I definitely been putting on some miles. I went to the shop the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, you need some new tires." I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds probably right."
That's okay. I'll expense it.
Yeah, right.
RPP right here.
There you go.
Nice.
Put it on the tab.
Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, man. I haven't been over here in a bit, and so it's good to be back hanging out here at Gaslight. We've got a lot of exciting things happening. Like I said, we got a bunch of new records on the way out soon, and kind of wanted to talk about some of that, kind of give everybody a little, preview of what's happening over here.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. So I guess one I'm really super excited about and kind of been waiting for a minute for is Elliott Pearson's and the Passing Lane. I'm really excited for that record.
Yeah, it's Elliott is excuse me. Elliott is one of my favorites, just selfishly.
Yeah.
Outside of Gaslight, if this never occurred,
right,
and Elliott continued to do what he does, I love listening to him sing. And the band is just really. They're a pocket band. I mean, they're all super quality musicians. But at the end of the day, when Elliott delivers, it's powerful.
Yeah.
So his project, we've had it in the box for a while. We were really lucky last year with the band from a placement standpoint, festivals and stages, really culminating in the open and after Thanksgiving. We were lucky enough to have him open for Nathaniel Rateliff at Stiefel.
Oh yeah.
And it was really surreal, because we know he's more than talented. The band's more than talented to hold their own on any stage. But I mean, you're going to Stiefel, and it's a sold out show, and
sure.
it was weird. But a real funny story about that night though, when the guys arrived to load in, they pull around in the back side, and the guy watching the garage door was like, what are you doing down here? And they're like, well, we're the opening band. And the guy's like, oh, okay, well, just go down this drive and turn to the right, park there, doors to the left. And so they do that. They grab their stuff. They go in and they're walking through, and nobody is there to greet them. They're like this, basically, this is weird. Something's not right. And then they see the gear boxes, all the road boxes with, all the gear for the bands. And so they're like, oh, we got to be in the right place. And they walk over, and somebody walks up and like, who are you? And they're like, we're the opening band. And they're like, there is no opening act. What the hell are you doing down here? And they're looking around, and I don't know which one it was, but they look down at the road boxes, and right on top it says Bob Seger. So the exact same night, Rateliff is at Stiefel. Right. Bob Seger's next door at Enterprise. Yeah. So they went in the wrong place. Oops. And they're like, oh, that would have been cool, But Elliott, he gets up on stage at Stiefel, and they're ripping through the set, and right around the 6th or 7th song, takes a quick break, is the little switch over, and he tells the story, and he tells it like a pro, and the room totally reacts. And that was the point where I'm like, not only is he capable to perform, but he can really own a room, and he's a powerful front man. And
Oh, yeah.
So that was a long-winded story too. Yes, I'm very excited about that album, you know.
Right.
Elliott Pearson in the Passing Lane. Check it out.
Now, where the light sinks in, I'm ready to go. Pack my bags, leaving down the only highway I've ever had the courage to drive. But I know it'll take its time. That swift wind to kick me deep inside my chest. Then I go without a fight, 'cause everyone I know is running out of something. But you told me not to leave, that our love could just repeat our ways. Stay lucky, babe. It's cold and my time is thin. I'm ready to go. On the road, I'm seeing more opportunities to make a fool of myself again. But I've grown and I'm sorry for not treating you like I should. But I'm getting old and I am tired, wanting to change as if I could. But I told you not to leave. You're the idea my mind just can't conceive. Always. Stay lucky, babe.
Yeah, for sure. That like I said, he's one of my favorites as well. I remember having him out at my monthly singer-songwriter showcase, and just there was a couple that, you know, he sang, and then like the room was like silent, and everybody just like draws on the floor kind of thing. And
Yeah.
you know, and he's got some powerful songs, and from a vocal standpoint and his lyrics, I mean, he's a really tremendous talent. So I'm excited for that for sure.
Yeah, on the new EP, it'll be a longer length EP. We're targeting 5 songs right now. We might add a few to it, but one of them is we took a shot at covering Changes, Sabbath's Changes, only more in the vein of Charles Bradley.
Yeah.
And we did it different. We used the warehouse here where we're in now, and we just tracked it live. We ran the snakes all the way through, and we just did it old school in the warehouse, and it was really special, you know.
Yeah.
And he like conjured the ghost of Charles Bradley and Ozzy at the same time, even though Ozzy's technically dead, even though he's still walking the
Right.
earth. But that'll be on this EP, and it's super impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man, that'd be
So-
cool. That seeing Charles Bradley live, like, I mean, he was a lot of fun to watch too, man. Like watching, especially that song. I mean, it was a huge moment for his career, taking on that song. So
Awesome.
but yeah, I got to see him over at Old Rock House once, and he got him to sign my record and all this stuff, and it's a really cool moment. I'm glad I was able to have that opportunity.
Yeah, Charles Bradley is one of those guys, when you kind of look into the history of him in particular, it's inspiring in the sense that he didn't make it.
Right.
He never really made it in his career till much later.
Right.
So, he just didn't quit. He just kept working, and that's cool.
Oh yeah. Well, you mentioned the warehouse, and then since we last spoke, this is all brand new.
Yeah.
Back here, still very new to the building, but you've been back here putting on shows in the warehouse area,
Right.
like you're saying, and we've been doing a lot of live concerts back here as well, as from inside the main studio and stuff. So
Right.
how did you want to talk about the development of the warehouse?
Well, the development of the warehouse was really kind of a spillover need from the studio itself, and we wanted to expand options and services. And truth be told, the general contracting side of my life was really coming to an end, and there's no point in having a wood shop to not cut wood in. Right. So we literally cleared it out. Zach and myself and Josh Eaker was a big part of cleaning it up as well, and we just pulled it all out, made it old school, and it's like a super glorified garage spot. I mean, It's a big space, so we can fit upwards of around 100, a little over 100 people in here for a show. And the cool thing about it is we didn't do anything to the room from a treatment standpoint, just cleaned it up really more than anything. And sonically, I mean, you can have the PA banging and it just sounds good. So I think we did a good job of kind of keeping it really organic, or whatever kind of kitschy, catchphrase word you can use. It's just a fun room to be in when rock and roll is turned up.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We've definitely had some rock and roll in here. I know you did a night back here with Bleach and Bernie Sisters, right?
Yeah.
We had Fighting Side back here a while back, and so definitely some bands that between Bleach and Fighting Side for sure. Those guys can get a little rowdy and have some fun and crank it up.
One of the ones that was a real test for us, we had Lenny Lashley come in. Lenny Lashley's Gang of One, and he was Heil Audio brought him in as not a private show, it was a public show, but it was unique to them because they wanted video for it. And it was, they brought in like stadium sized gear rigs. And I'm like, fellas, come on now. It's small. It's just a small room here. I'm like, oh no. And then they kind of insisted on it. So it was kind of a litmus test for us. And they plugged in and they turned up, and the room just kind of swallowed it up, and it worked, and nice. They loved it, and it was unique. And so yeah, we look forward to doing more shows in back here. Keep it simple, really kind of focus on, we always want to make sure the door is open for the local artists to give them an opportunity to play a different style of venue, really. Because it's a unique space.
For sure. Yeah, man. Well, you, I guess, if anybody's wanting to arrange something, they can contact you about that, or
they can hit us up directly on any of the social pages, message us, or my contact info is on the webpage.
Right.
Excuse me. So it's pretty easy. Well, you're booking shows. They can contact you.
Yeah. Right.
You got a room.
Yeah.
You got an extra room now. We'll play ball.
Yeah. It is weird, man. I never really thought. I'm sure you can in a similar sense yourself, but I never really, when I started all this, I never really thought I was going to be a concert promoter, and all this stuff, like booking all these bands and doing shows and stuff now. And I'm doing a very small, dose of it, but it is it's wild, man. I never thought I'd get into this world, but one thing led to another, and all of a sudden I'm.
Well, I mean, I think given what you do, I mean, if part of the trick of putting on a show really starts with the talent at the end of the day, and obviously you talk to a few people every now and then.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine that your ears are pretty in tune with what's going on. So that's a huge advantage as a promoter, right?
Well, but I'm still just a fan. Like that's where it
Right.
started at. Like all I want to do is try to help my friends out, and then that started into a podcast that led into doing shows, and that led into everything else. Like it's just kind of crazy how all this kind of started happening. I don't know. It's like, I mean, I'm all for it, but it's kind of, I just never, when I sat back and I started this show in Chris's basement, episode 1, we never thought that we'd be doing 700 of these, and I'd be booking parties at some of the best venues around town and everything else. But it's cool, man.
No, I mean, it's, I've said it to you before, and a lot of people that I've spoke to in particular about what you do, it really is a service. I mean, the podcast is great, and there's always cool content on there, but it's the little things too. The daily show update.
Oh yeah.
Like, are you kidding?
I get more feedback about that than anything I do.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's a huge service, and I don't think anybody realizes how much work probably goes into that. It seems like, it's one post a day is what most of them think, but that takes a lot of effort to tag it all out. And no, well done, man. Congrats.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I kind of got it down to a science now. It's still definitely some work, but kind of got my my way of doing it, and it works out pretty well, and I can get it done pretty effectively. And
Cool.
And then I always go back and add more that I forget or find later and everything else. So, but yeah, no, it's people really seem to dig that, and like, especially since you can get a glimpse of the 50 shows in one quick swipe and stuff, and so
do Venmo tips help move your number up the slots?
Yeah. People often ask, like, they kind of get excited when it's number 1 or whatever. I'm like, really, there's no rhyme or reason to any of it, but yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to to taking offers.
How much is a 3 slot?
Yeah, right. Right.
I just want to be on the first page, Shane. No, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
We thank you from the music community of Gaslight in particular. We love that you support us and put us out there. So
definitely,
thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all you've been doing for my friends, and I know. And let's talk about another record due out here shortly. Allie Vogler has been busy over here working on a new record. So.
Yeah, she's, obviously she's an insane talent. I think that the one thing about Allie, because everybody, me in particular, like, I can't speak for everybody else, but when I think of Allie and River Kittens kind of comes up first, it's about the vocals. It's about that delivery. It's that tone and cadence and the melodies and harmonies that they do, and it's so professional, and it's emotional. That what gets overlooked a lot of times is the songwriting. And Allie and her songs that are going to be on this album they're deep. They're so well structured, and that's exciting for me to work with somebody like Allie, because there's so much to being a good talent on stage, or an even better talent in the studio. It takes so much discipline, and she's got it. And it's funny, we have a very laissez-faire relationship with this project. We give her a lot of space, to the point where a lot of the vocals were just her by herself in the space, and she knows what she wants. She knows how she wants to sound, and she basically was subtly, guys, I don't need you for this, and we're like, okay, see, yeah. But it's, I think everybody is expecting a good album, and I'm confident that is exactly what we're going to give them. So it's going to be cool when that thing rolls out.
Yeah.
And the players that were on the album, it's an all-star cast. So the music is top notch. The way that it's been put together it just vibes right, and her vocals are, they're top of the pile
For sure.
So
yep, yeah, she's they're
Well, I mean, they've been River Kittens has been one of my favorites in town for a long time, and so I'm excited to see what she does on her own with a solo record essentially in this band. So, but yeah, that's gonna be cool. I'm excited for that, and all this. We don't have any exact release dates on anything, right?
No,
nothing. But summer, fall-ish, somewhere in there. We're thinking, or
sure,
yeah, for some
yes.
for some of this stuff.
Yes, I think that establishing a release date on an album these days is really, in my opinion, it's tricky.
Yeah.
Because if you really focus on all the things that go into it, from the artwork to the bio to building it into an EPK and the photos and putting together a PR campaign and booking the venue and trying to sell the tickets, and then am I going to tour it? I think there's so much that goes into really ensuring that a release is successful, that in our experience, we've rushed through it in the past, and these days we do not rush through it, to the point where it's probably agonizingly slow to some of the artists, but we want to make sure that we give the albums, the releases, the proper environment and the opportunities to succeed. Mm-hmm. Because in talking to so many PR firms and even very successful managers and A&R reps that are kind of in our network now that we bounce projects off of, and singles and just feedback, they're all like, drag your feet. If you don't need to do it, don't do it. And at the end of the day, the artists want the music out there. They just want people to listen to it.
Sure.
And in a perfect world, they want people to pay for it so that they can, reap the rewards that way as well. But in the day and age of Spotify and, the ease of making an album really at multiple levels, and the turnaround time of getting it out on DistroKid or whatever the outlet is, it's just so easy that people are skipping a lot of steps between doing the heavy lifting and making the music, and then making sure people are ready to accept it. Because once it's out there, the vast majority of blog writers and PR firms and video release agencies that are looking for that exclusive, it's no longer exclusive.
Right.
So now you're really battling, to a degree, uphill in your own market. So long story short, we're dragging our feet because we really want to give these projects the opportunity to gain the best footing.
Yeah, definitely. Is there a certain thing that comes to mind that maybe you see as along with what you're talking about, a common mistake that a lot of people are making? That is there anything?
I would, no one thing jumps to the front of the list in my opinion. I believe that the record industry, the sales portion of it in particular, booking and getting people out to shows in your own backyard or establishing a tour, I think everything is just exceptionally harder these days.
Yeah.
And when you really look at some of the institutional changes that have been dropped on music and the distribution of music, specifically digital streaming, it's completely changed the game. Mm-hmm. In today's world, you get 1 million spins and Spotify might send you a check for $1,000 at most. Well, a $10 CD, just sell 100 of them to your friends and family, and guess what? You're at $1,000.
Right.
So I think that what we talk about a lot here is really trying to focus on your fan base, focus on your backyard, focus on your friends and family and neighbors, because the one thing that we here in St. Louis in particular, and really this is true in probably any town USA, is that people love to support their own. If it's from here, people have an automatic connectivity to it, whether or not they like the music or the genre or whatever. Case in point would be, you ask somebody, do you like rap or hip hop? And they're like, no, I like country. Okay. Second question, do you like Nelly? Hell yeah, I like Nelly.
Right.
He's ours. He's from St. Louis.
Sure.
So it's kind of that.
I'm from the Lou and I'm proud.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that back to your question. Sorry, I really went on a total tangent there. I think people are rushing it. I think people are rushing their product out the door. I think that's probably the number one problem in regards to releases. I think the number two problem is really more of a general issue is saturation. Just playing all the time. And I get it. Most musicians love music. They want to play music. They want to play it with their friends, out in public, in front of new people. And then, when they do have a product and they're like, okay, time, hey, come see my CD release show. It's hard because the demand it's not what it was or can be whenever the playing is limited. I think that's something that all artists should really evaluate your calendar. At some point there's diminishing returns. If you really want to be a musician, a professional musician, that you can release projects and product that people are going to come, demanding for. So,
yeah. I've been, since I've been doing my show, my songwriter night out there, I do it out in Chesterfield, and I immediately got a bunch of people like, why are you doing it in Chesterfield? Like, you should do it, in St. Louis. And I'm like,
no.
Yeah, but there's 100 other shows in St. Louis to compete with. Plus, for me, as a fan of the artist and everything else, it gets them out of St. Louis to play a different, because there's a lot of people that aren't going to be making the trip across the river or whatever it is. And,
right.
So like they can come out there and it's almost essentially like a tour date because they're playing to a different crowd than in South City and stuff. So it's like,
I thought when I saw that you were booking those out at Naked Vine,
yeah,
I thought it was a brilliant idea because there is a kind of the 270 divide.
Right.
Really, we got a couple divides as far as city versus county, you
Right.
know, Skinker, Jefferson for some, won't go west of Jefferson. But once you get outside of the 270 ring, it really is, it's a mental block for a lot of people that they're not going to go, either way. So playing in places like that, because the gentleman, and I can never remember his name, that owns.
Oh, Brian Herr.
He's such a supporter of music in general. Why wouldn't you want to go play a place that a guy loves music and he's got a whole room full of people that have never seen you play?
Right.
And it's that's kind of, we do talk about that a lot here. Venues like Naked Vine, Pops. Pops is a perfect example.
Yeah.
There's that, it's got a number of different stigmas tagged to it, but there's a few shows that I've been to there, that just blew my mind, just the overall production. And all local show with 1,000 people in the room. It's like, Jesus.
And the lights and sound are all amazing. I mean, like they do a top notch over there, and it's all included. So that's what's really nice too. It's not like you're paying extra lighting guy or anything. So.
No, and then and then when you talk to people that are quote in a or the scene, hey, there's this build. I think you should go play at Pops, play the show. It's the sounds are similar or just enough different that it could be cool. The apprehension and really thumbing noses at Pops for the sake of, I'm not going to the East Side or I'm not going to Sauget or whatever it is. To me, it's like, okay, so let's say your career smashes, you skyrocket up the charts and you're touring. You're gonna be playing big places with a whole bunch of people that are just like the people that are at Pops in your backyard.
Right.
Why wouldn't you? I should say. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know any of the answers really either, but I do see a lot of people kind of struggling, like just trying to all figure out the answers. I mean, we're all in the same boat. Everybody's trying to figure out the best way to sell records and the best way to put your music out there and get people to hear it, and still make a couple bucks doing it to where you can afford to put more CDs out or whatever
Yeah.
it is and stuff. So, you know, I don't know what the real answer is to any of that, but I don't think anybody does. It's whatever's best for you. But
Yeah, I think that the one thing artists really need to pay attention to is the overall commitment. And it's not commitment to music. It's not a commitment to writing or rehearsing or doing all that. The business of music is, you know, I use a pie analogy a lot, you know, where 50% of that pie, it better be good music. Otherwise, people simply are not going to listen to it, right? I mean, that's just kind of the law of nature. Your ears are going to teach you or train you that sounds good or it doesn't sound good. You know, and there's varying degrees of that. But the other 50%, that's the shit that nobody really wants to do. That's your social media.
Right.
That's writing your bio. That's keeping your EPK updated. That's actually engaging people in social media and not just putting a post out there and then counting your likes, but, you know, not engaging anyone. You know, it's some in town do an exceptional job of the ground game. Engaging on social, being very sparse in local shows, and being diligent or creating the capability to tour. Because in today's market, if Spotify and all the other digital platforms are going to literally just give you your shit out there for free, well, how are you going to make money? You know, you've got very few choices. You know, it's really, really hard to get licensing or sync set up. That takes relationships on a corporate side. The thing that you can control is merch, CDs, touring. You know, you get on the road. For example, the Maness Brothers.
oh yeah,
You know, the Maness Brothers are they could they could teach a class on here's how you hit the road.
sure.
Now, granted, there's only two of them, so
Yeah.
it doesn't take as big of a van.
Yeah, they got a little more convenience. Yep.
But you know, they also kill each other halfway through the trips. You know, but I think that they're a really good act that people should follow. Not only because the 50% of the music is that good, because it is, but the other 50%, you know, Jake is diligent on communicating in his spreadsheets and his emails, and I mean they're pros.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard.
Sure. They did. I feel like they did a really good job with. You know, they obviously do their own show, their Whiskey War Festival and stuff, but it allows them to like essentially show swap with people all over the country. You know, they go and play their town, and then they bring them all here to St. Louis and throw a big party. And
We literally just had this conversation the other night, talking about Whiskey War Fest coming up. We're in the midst of finishing their album now, and we're talking about the release that'll be later in the year, and the tours that they have. And Whiskey War Fest came up, and you know, they just flat out said Whiskey War Fest was created not because we wanted to like build a festival and make money at a festival, because we wanted to be able to expand our band. That was the goal,
right.
You know, create the network, create the quid pro quo and the trade off with the touring bands that come through, so that they can ideally land spaces where all these bands are from, and it worked. You know, this is year 8 or 9, I think, and
Yeah, something.
right now they've got 2 or 3 routes nationally that are anchored by cities where these bands that have played that Whiskey War are from, and you know, call the shots and help promote them. So their tours tend to be successful from a standpoint that they are going to have rooms, they're going to have beds, they're going to get food. It might not, you know, overflow the piggy bank, but they can survive. You know, and that's so hard in today's environment.
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited for those guys and going international too and stuff this year. I know they've done. I think they've done a couple of runs in the past also, but you know, it's just great to see that that work ethic's paying off and that they're getting
And you should hear the new demos.
Yeah.
Oh, they're sick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's eerily sick, in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, trying to, they went in the studio and they dug in deep, and they pushed their tone catalog. They pushed vocal. You know, everything about it is just Maness Brothers on 12.
Right.
You know, it's super cool.
That I'm blanking on the name. I was trying to pull it up here.
What's that?
But that the one that they did for the St. Louis Blues Society. And I think it appeared on the record as well.
Drive Me?
Yeah, Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That one, that was my turner-upper for quite a while, man. That was one that just that really hit me, and I'm like, man, that's a fun song to just crank it up and drive. And
Well, I tried so hard, but I can't do it on my own. Drive me in my soul. Drive me in my soul. Take me where I must go. Drive me in my soul. Tried so hard, I can't do it on my own. Well, I tried so hard, well, I can't do it on my own. Drive me in my soul.
Well, this new album is that with just a ton of depth and layer, and it's all over the board. It was really sitting through that process, being, while tracking and listening to the direction that it was going, really kind of shook me a little bit in the sense that I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting in your face dirty blues rock album,
right?
And it's way more than that. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I love those guys and love what they're doing. I'm excited to check that out too.
Yeah, it'd be a good one.
Yeah, man. Well, another one you kind of talked briefly about it before we hit record, but another big one coming out would be Al Halliday's All St. Louis Revue. Is that
All St. Louis Revue, Volume 1.
Volume 1, there you go.
We have big plans for this one, for just kind of the concept and the series. Along the lines of what we've been talking about, supporting St. Louis and acknowledging the artistry. This project with Al has kind of been a long time coming. Al lives 3-4 blocks from here, so he would stumble in Tuesdays or Thursdays during the day, and he'd get his walking taco from Cha-Cha, and we'd sit there, and every single time we'd have the same conversation. Hey, how's it going? It's going good, man. What are you up to? Nah, not much. Hey, we should do a project. We definitely need to do a project. He'd finish his taco and leave. And we never got to the second sentence of what was that project going to be.
Yeah.
And then finally, we had a little bit of an extended conversation, and he had this idea of an All St. Louis Revue. And I'm like, well, what if we do it? What if we track it all live? Let's do something crazy. Let's do kind of bigger band style. And he's like, well, I got my tape machine. Let's bring the tape over. Let's do it real old school and go, to a 2-inch reel. And I'm like, well, that'd be cool. I mean, in our world, every crazy idea is usually tried at least once.
Right.
So he brought over the tape machine, and Zach and him spent a couple of days just testing out the tech. How are we going to do this with everybody playing live, same time, brass, drums, guitar, bass, everybody in the room together, and then putting where the Revue comes from is he reached out to different songwriters in town and took one of their songs, and then he arranged them in the vibe of the East Side Rhythm Band. So some of the singers that are on the project, Brian Owens, we have Emily Wallace and Neil C. Luke.
St. Louis, I just wanna make him mine in South City. How long can I go on like this, doing the same things but expecting different ends?
Roland Johnson, Eugene is on it as well. Tommy Halloran, Mike Aguirre. Did I say that right?
I think it's Aguirre.
Aguirre.
Yeah.
See, I screwed up.
Big Mike. Yeah.
Big Mike.
Yep.
Should say Big Mike.
Yeah,
And I'm sure I'm missing somebody. And we took those songs, and Al had his band mold them, kind of reinvent them a little bit. And they would play live in the room. We'd hit go, and obviously we're on tape, so we got to go all the way through it. And we put the singers right in the middle here in the warehouse and let them rip. And most of the sessions were 2 or 3 takes, maybe a 4th, generally pretty quick. I mean, we're looking at 20 to 30 minutes per artist, right? And that was it. And it was done. And Zach and Al worked together on mixing it, and as these mixes were coming back, we were all we would hit play and test them out, and it was magical. I'm gonna sound really cheesy here. It was special to the point like, holy shit, this just happened, and I was worried because I was afraid that I was being overly excited because, oh yeah, is this because we did it? Is it because of the room? And I didn't want anybody to think that. And Al came in one day, we were going over some X's and O's, and he sat down in the chair and he just kind of leaned back. He's like, damn, this shit's hot. You know, and that was it. That's how he started the conversation. I'm like, fuck yes, thank you. All right, we're good. And it's special. And we've got a couple, we're going to have 2 nights at Off Broadway, end of June, where we're going to roll this out and bring in those singers. And it's hot. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you, Shane, it's hot. That's Al
Holiday excited is one of my favorite things because he's like, it's just infectious. Like you just can't help but smile with him, and he's just.
Well, so there's a side of Al in this project too that I was very proud to be a part of, just being around it, because one of the singers' songs that he selected was Nathan Jocko's, and he took the song, he performed it, and they crush it. Mm-hmm. And it was a really special moment because he had Nathan's parents here, sitting in the room with headphones on, monitoring the track, and it was this incredibly emotional moment that I don't care where you're at, or if you're an East Coaster, West Coaster, and especially if you're from here, hearing the song, knowing the story, it's special.
Yeah, man.
So I can't wait to roll that one out. You'll dig that one
for sure. Yeah, I'm excited. But that's a beautiful thing to pay tribute to a friend like that. So
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, very cool. I know he did they didn't record it, but they did the All St. Louis Revue show at Del Mar Hall like a year or something ago, and so I'm guessing that kind of helped solidify this idea, like, hey, we need to get in the studio and record this thing. So
yeah, and I knew that show did really, really well.
Yeah.
And I always assumed that would kind of be the focal point of at least where we started the conversation.
Yeah.
Because St. Louis is one of those towns that, when it comes to heritage, musical heritage in particular, we can rip off a whole mile-long list of talent that has originated here, that hit from Ragtime through to Miles to Tina to Chuck and on and on and on and all this stuff. Here in 2019, we look at kind of our presence regionally and nationally. It's tough, and I think a lot of that has to do with what we were talking about earlier, just the nature of music distribution and the amount of money it takes to create a single, right? A hit single. It's astronomical, and the chemistry in that process, for the most part, it's not gone, but it's extremely diminished. So this project to us was a way that we wanted to really focus on and remind people, like, hey, all of these influences and all of this culture and differences that we have within our own community is really reflective in our music too, and it can be a positive thing. So like, this album is male and female, black and white, some 40, 50 years younger than others that are singing on this album. I mean, it's a real cross section of who we are and really who we have been historically for a long, long time. So it's we in my mind, and I said to Al one time, I'm like, this is kind of a love letter. This is like a, thank you, St. Louis, and by the way, buy our record. So it's cool. We'll have the, we'll have the 2-night album release at Off Broadway. And then we have a couple very special big stages that we'll be on later in the summer to kind of give back to the city, and they'll see us coming down. They'll see that band up on stage, and they're gonna kick some teeth in with what we roll out. I'm stoked.
Yeah, man. Well, and I think it's like you're saying, overall, it's just a great community project, bringing everybody together for a common good, and we're all going to benefit from it. The city in general, but each artist, they all going to cross over, fan bases and everything else. So it's really a cool idea, and really, I'm excited for that project too. Yeah. So.
You'll see it. You'll be there, right?
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, you'll be there.
Can we talk about the other stuff with the Taste of St. Louis stuff? Can you want to talk about that?
Well, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
Because excuse me, I've been lucky enough to build a relationship with the production company that owns Taste now, and one of their employees, Dustin Rowe, is the owner, creator, organizer of Songs for Soldiers over in Columbia, Illinois. Which was a show last year that we had Elliott on. Right. Elliott opened for Granger Smith and Diamond Rio.
Yeah.
In front of 5,000-6,000 people, and Dustin has become a very good friend of mine, and he got involved with the team that took over Taste of St. Louis, and Pat Zundel and Dustin really are kind of pointing the music side of it, and they came in and sat down and they were like, yeah, okay, we're bringing it back into the city, out of Chesterfield Valley, bringing it back downtown. The music, we want to do something, and really kind of give back to the city was the gist of the conversation. And so we immediately started thinking about, I was thinking in terms of the Al Holiday Project. Like, okay, they have kind of a theme to Taste this year. It's educate, elevate, and celebrate. And there's going to be a lot of different components that they've integrated into Taste. So in terms of music, I use those themes as, okay, well, why don't we create a message here, and let's, don't go get Earth, Wind, and Fire or whoever,
sure.
For your night slot and get people to dance to a bunch of songs they've heard a million times. Let's roll out a St. Louis lineup. And they were totally on board from the get-go. So we started looking at all the slots and looking at all the genres and mixing it up, and really kind of trying to make sure that we put out a package or an offering, so to speak, for Taste that would be not only going back to that pie, 50% of, we know they're really good, everybody's going to love the music, but the other part of it was really we want people to own them. We need our artists to be better supported. So that we can continue to make great music, so they can continue to have a little more comfort financially, right? Time, all those other things that come along with record sales, so they can keep being creative. So, and the best fans that anybody really has anywhere in the world are those fans that are in their backyard.
Yeah.
So, Taste this year will be overrun with St. Louis talent, not only in the cooking battles and all the restaurants that we're already kicking everybody's ass nationally in right now, but on the music stages, it's going to be sick.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
So, yeah.
And what, do you know the dates on that?
September 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Cool. All right. Okay. Mark that on your calendar and keep an eye out for more details coming soon, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to here at Gaslight. Besides, all this is connected, but here you also you're bringing in some new food.
Correct.
We're currently building out for the new restaurant.
Switching up the food a little bit. Cha Cha was great. We just they realized, I think, that running a food truck is a lot of work. And then when you park that truck and you try to service a bunch of rock and roll heads till late at night, that makes for extremely long days.
Yeah.
So it was a mutual decision. They wanted to move on, and we, clearly we got to have food. So the Hill has a ton of options, and we wanted to make sure that we maintain some separation from pasta. We didn't want to do pasta and pizza. So Joe Smagala, who owns Gastropit, barbecue, comfort food, salad, sandwiches, things like that. kind of approached us. He's like, man, I'd like to make a change here on the hill. What are you doing with the space? I'm like, perfect. I said, the only thing is, will you do late night menu? He's like, hell yeah. So I'm like, perfect, let's do it. So we've got Gastro Pit coming in. That'll be just really, we kind of joked about it. It's rock and roll food.
Yeah.
You got burgers and you got pulled pork and wings and tacos, and you got a couple salads and a little bit of everything, simple finger food, in and out. And then again, there will be a late night option since the shows are picking up, or our head count is higher after 9 o'clock, so got to feed them.
Yeah, very cool. So we'll have that coming up soon, and then you along with tons of other events throughout the week, you are now weekly every Sunday night open mic here at Gaslight.
Yeah, open mic. Colleen Bunton has done a great job of quarterbacking that. Tim Levy, one of our bartenders, also a musician here, is kind of her right-hand man. The two of them have kept it very consistent. Every Sunday, 7 o'clock, sign up. And then once every 4 to 6 weeks, we go ahead and do a showcase where, we select from the people that are consistent, that are in, that stand out, for a number of different reasons. And then that 6th or 7th time, we go in the studio and we record it, we stream it, and the artist gets a good 3, 4, 5 songs in studio, and everybody wins, a unique experience. But the open mic has been steady and growing, anywhere from 15 to 20 people per night that are on the board, so that's been great.
Yeah. And I know there's been a lot of people documenting it and stuff. Matt Close has been doing some documenting and stuff, but we do have a really cool thing happening, I think, around our city with our open mic community. A lot of people really, coming out and supporting those. So it's really, really neat to see, especially to think that it's not just for beginners or whatever. You can,
sure.
I saw even Brad No wrote the other day on Facebook. He's like, if you ever think you're too good to go to an open mic, you need to think again, because we all can use it sometimes to go try out new stuff. And
I mean, we've had it's some of ours here. We've ran the gamut. We've had some moms bringing in their kid. I think there was a 12-year-old one time that came in with a uke and did a bunch of 21 Pilot songs, and all the way to comedians that were really not comedians but wanted to be comedians, and they tried their first time here, right. We've had it all.
Sure.
The other night we had somebody that drove in from Springfield, Missouri. They were literally, I just wanted to try it out and going home after this, and so that's cool. That's and it just gives everybody, it's kind of like a safe place. You come in and the room is always very supportive. There's a cast of characters that are usually 15 to 20 that are consistently here, right, either performing and or just watching. So the support is there, and I think that's what Colleen really does a good job of, is that when she does evaluate it and take a look at what do we want to do from a showcase standpoint, they really do focus on worthy, and it's a combination of their story, it's a combination of their playing. It's not, they don't have to be a Gaslight artist to be in the showcase, right? We wanted to make sure that it was truly an open format,
right? And
it has become that.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well, along with those recordings from the studio, you guys have been live streaming them all, so people have some high quality video and all of it. So yeah, it's really a nice package you're putting together for all those people. So give them a chance to, showcase to other, places that what else they can do too. So hopefully get more shows booked and everything else, and get them out there more. So
yeah, it's been good. It's been fun.
What we got any? You got some other things cooking with the Gaslight videos coming up?
Video.
I know you've been working with like Alt 104.
Yeah, they've been great.
Yeah.
Fletcher in particular on the Alt 1049, 1041, Alt 104. I don't know. It's preset channel 3 on my radio, right? He's been super proactive in when these national acts come in and they want to do some promo or do something unique, he pitches us, virtually every time. It's cool, and I think he does it because he's been around here enough to know that there's enough kind of synergy that's occurring on the ground that there's people that will support it, that will come out and do that, and it's a great experience. I'll never forget the time when Judah and the Lion came in. That was one of the first ones we did with them. And Suit and Jacket had just been released. It was #1 on the charts. And we announced it, and the room was loaded with these young fans. Like my neighbor who was a senior in high school, she's like, "Oh my God, can I get in?" And I'm like, "Jesus, really? You too?" And but Judah was so cool because they went in the studio and everybody's always kind of shocked when they come in, like, what the hell is this? What am I doing? Oh, okay, I get it now. And they settle in and they play and they hear it and it sounds great. And they're like, damn, yeah. And as soon as they were done, they turned around and they looked at us and they were like, is it okay if we go out there too? And all the fans thought, okay, it's done. They're going out the back door. We're getting out. Next thing you know, Judah and the Lions walking down the hallway, playing acoustic guitars and mandolins in the lounge with them. And, and point is, these sessions create moments between the fans and the artists that they're not going to get. Not in. There's no other format short of going to dinner with them where you can engage kind of on that granular level. Right.
Man, there was when you said that, there was a moment came to mind. I saw Will Hogue in Kansas City at Knuckleheads, and he's playing full electric, their regular set, and him and his band, and then all of a sudden they the drummer picks up just like the snare, and he grabs an acoustic, and they just go to the middle of the room and they played unplugged right in the middle of the room, and I'm like, man, that was such a cool moment, where it was they totally stripped away everything. You're like, now everybody has a front row seat for this concert, and it was just a really intimate moment, and so imagine one of your favorite bands walking into the lounge and playing an acoustic set. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it was funny. There was about 7 of my neighbor's friends all crying. Guys, it's the same song. They just played it.
Sure.
But we can feel them.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
but the video, Matt and the team on the video side, Matt and Brandon Sloan and James Jackson has been doing more shooting with us. I mean, they're top notch.
Sure.
So it's really fun to be able to create the connection so that you can have the talent come in, turn your team loose, and know and trust the process. And really what it's doing is it's illustrating up the food chain through these managers, through these A&R reps and the tour managers that are touring with these bands and the bands themselves, that this is legit. This is a reason for us to remember St. Louis, potentially come back through, because it is those unique experiences. As much as the people that are in the room as fans are like, holy shit, that's Laney or that's Sophie Tucker or whoever it is, the Laneys and the Sophie Tuckers, as we're walking out the door, they're always like, man, that's super cool. We got to try and come back through.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Sure. I mean, I know it was, several ago, but we did one in here with Cavo.
Yeah.
For the 300th episode of the show and stuff, and that's exactly what they said. They want to get back in there, and then they did. They just recently came back in the studio and did another one. So that's really cool to see. Everybody wants to come back and do it again.
Well, that makes us proud, and I know that it's because of the team. It's just a room. It's 4 walls with that are crooked, and it is what it is. And everybody has the same mics and everybody has the same chords. I think it's the vibe. We really focus on the vibe, and our team members respect the process. And I know that's why it works when it works.
Sure.
So
yeah, I mean, yeah, you can, like you're saying, everybody's got the mics and things. It's the cast of characters that go with it. All the people that make up Gaslight here and make it work the way it does. So so big shout out to all the crew you got here. You put together.
And Jameson Whiskey.
There you go. Yeah.
Official sponsor of all things Gaslight.
Yeah,
have your Jameson.
Yeah.
So now I can tell my rep that we said this on your podcast too. So
right.
I'll ask him for an extra 50. I'll split it with you. How's
Okay.
that?
Yeah, that sounds fair. Well, you, man, JB, this has been really great. And I'm glad that we did this. I'm glad it worked out. We catch up a little
appreciate
bit and talk about all this stuff happening here at Gaslight. Get involved on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, gaslightstl.com.
Yeah, gaslightstl.com, and all the socials are simply Gaslight STL.
Okay, and again, come on out to a show. Come out to the warehouse. Get yourself some studio time.
Yeah.
Come out to the open mic. Whatever it is, we got a
Warehouse.
or
my
just-
building needs scraped. I've got weeds to pull. What, if you're bored, come on
Right.
by. We'll keep you busy.
or just grab a sandwich at Gastro Pit.
yeah, there you
So,
go.
But yeah, man,
Sweet.
I really appreciate it, and let's do it again soon, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, JB. Bye, everyone.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.